There are conflicting reports tonight on whether President Trump is a target in the various investigations roiling Washington, from the Mueller Russia probe to the Michael Cohen raids. Meantime, the Justice Department's Inspector General referred its findings on former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe to federal prosecutors for possible criminal charges. Ed Henry is at the White House with all the developments. Ed, what's going on?
Mark, great to see you. This could be a big deal because what we're learning today is that the Deputy Attorney General in an Oval Office meeting last week told President Trump he is not a criminal target in either the Michael Cohen investigation or the special counsel probe involving Robert Mueller, of course. Bloomberg kicked all of this off by reporting that during this meeting, Rosenstein basically said the president's a subject of the Mueller probe, meaning his conduct is under investigation, but there's not enough evidence to charge him. Rosenstein was repeating this for the first time since Cohen's office and home had been raided. And Fox News is specifically hearing Rosenstein also told the president he's not a target of that Cohen investigation in New York either. But Mueller, it's important to note, has not ruled out making the president a target at a later date based on evidence that could emerge. The same could happen in the Cohen investigation, which explains why tonight the president has now added to his legal team. You see him there, Rudy Giuliani, the former New York City mayor, former federal prosecutor. He's been sharply critical of the FBI for going light on Hillary Clinton but attacking the president. FBI officials like Andrew McCabe, the former number 2, who was fired for leaking, and now the Inspector General at the Justice Department has sent a criminal referral to the U.S. Attorney here in Washington, saying that McCabe tried to cover all that up by lying to the FBI's own investigators. McCabe says tonight he believes he'll be vindicated, but it's worth noting that former Justice Department officials are telling us that the fact that the Inspector General, who's nonpartisan at the Justice Department, sent this out, this criminal referral, it carries a lot of weight. And that's why the president tweeted a few moments ago that maybe James Comey and Andrew McCabe are getting a dose of their own medicine. Mark?
Yeah, that's pretty amazing news, Ed. Thanks for that. Chris Swecker is the was the executive assistant director of the FBI. He's not one of those who's under criminal referral. And Tom Fitton is the president of Judicial Watch. Tom, this is pretty amazing, isn't it? We basically got a situation where the director of the FBI would be the principal witness in the criminal prosecution of the deputy director, and possibly vice versa in Comey's case. It's bizarre times.
It is, and remember, he's the number 2 at the FBI, or at least was number 2, was the senior official charged with investigating Hillary Clinton over the email matter and targeting President Trump. As far as I'm concerned, his conduct, it's been alleged by the Inspector General, and now he's facing potential prosecution, has tainted both investigations. And remember, Andrew McCabe, ironically, is the FBI official who reportedly set up the ambush interview of those agents with General Flynn, and General Flynn was later charged with lying and admitted to lying to those agents. Now Mr. McCabe is now could be charged with lying at least 3 times under oath to FBI officials investigating him. It's an extraordinary development, and it doesn't augur well, obviously, for Mr. McCabe, Mr. Comey, or frankly, Mr. Mueller, who was handed this investigation by McCabe and his team.
Chris, you wrote today that you're pretty embarrassed about the state of your old agency and what it's come to. I mean, this is the FBI is now the issue. Nobody cares about Russia. That's all gone away. It's actually the conduct of the highest figures in the FBI that is now the issue in this story.
Well, Mark, let me just say it's not the FBI. This is what my op-ed was about. It was about not equating the FBI, the good men and women of the FBI, with Comey and McCabe, Schrock, Page, a very small group that was an aberration. Remember, Comey was only director for a very short time.
Right.
I mean, so I hate to have the entire FBI painted with that broad brush when we know that this small inner circle simply made up their own rules and did things their own way and broke the rules, some very well-established rules.
Well, just to go to that, we all know that it's a crime to lie to the FBI, and Michael Flynn supposedly did that. and he would have been looking at several years in jail if they decided to go and prosecute for that. Now, McCabe did it 3 times as often as Michael Flynn. Do you think there's any serious chance he'll be going to jail?
I think that the referral by the Inspector General is a very serious thing. I mean, it's ironic that the potential charge would be 18 U.S. Code 1001, which is lying to the FBI, and that's what Flynn and Papadopoulos and others have been charged with. So I think it's ironic that he's facing those very same charges times 3.
Let's go on to McCabe's old boss, Jim Comey, who's managed to make enemies on all sides, which is boding poorly for his book tour. This was the scene outside a New York City Barnes and Noble, where there were both pro and anti-Trump supporters united on nothing except how much they detest Comey. Antipathy to James Comey is healing this divided nation. What's your reaction to that, Tom?
You know, the veil's been lifted. The veil's been lifted. James Comey is an anti-Trump activist. He might as well be running the DNC, given his hatred for President Trump and his deference to Hillary Clinton. You know, he illegally leaked, in my view, that document about his alleged conversation with President Trump that I really don't even think happened the way he said, in order to get a special counsel appointed. So, you know, breaking the rules to get a special counsel to target President Trump, that's Mr. Comey's legacy. And Andrew McCabe is his legacy. Peter Strzok is his legacy. Right. Lisa Page is his legacy. This is the culture of corruption that James Comey quickly set up when he was appointed by Barack Obama to run and from a leadership position, ruin the FBI for that short time he was there.
Let me ask Chris a question about that, Chris, because you've been very strong on this idea that basically here we have it, like in county court terms, the policeman usurping the role of the county attorney when he absolved Hillary Clinton from any prosecutable wrongdoing. He's not the prosecutor, he's the investigator. Why didn't President Obama actually fire him as FBI director for that?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, you know, this system is set up to have a filter between the investigators and a prosecution or a prosecutive decision, and that's a very sound system, and that keeps the FBI out of politics. In this case, he thrust them directly into politics, sort of a thumbs on the scale investigation, a non-investigation with Clinton, and then a pretty push-the-envelope investigation on the president. Now, right. I'm in favor of an all-out investigation. If you're going to investigate and it's fully predicated, go at it. In this case, they did not. And I think that fit in with the whole agenda there. Lynch clearly, the Attorney General clearly was in the camp for Clinton, was running some interference for her. And that's what former Director Comey cited as the reason he bypassed her. But I can't, you know, you can't do that. You can't do that differently just for her.
Gentlemen,
you know, this is a system that has rules, and he should have followed the rules.
No, that's a good point. Equality before the law. I have dim memories of that.